we get the military, the pharmaceutical industry, are they trying to develop MDMA for post-traumatic stress disorder? And the answer is that we are, and that they're not. And that we are becoming them. That we have to develop our own pharmaceutical company, a nonprofit, and that we have to offer the information to the public and also to the pharmaceutical companies and invite them to beat us to market if they want to. So it's all in a nonprofit context, and we've just finished the first study of MDMA for post-traumatic stress disorder. When MDMA was a therapy drug and it was being used legally, there was like 500,000 doses were used that way, and then for Ann and Sasha to see how that was criminalized and all that stopped and blocked, it was depressing and really hard. And so we've worked since then to try to, for us to bring back the therapeutic use of MDMA. And we've finished the first study. We're going to talk about it at starting 2 and 2:30 tomorrow. But we finished the first study with MDMA for post-traumatic stress disorder. We have 2 Iraq War veterans in the study, so they're both individuals and symbols. Here at Burning Man, we finished the study. Here at Burning Man, I spoke to somebody yesterday who has post-traumatic stress disorder from 9/11, and he's had it ever since. And he's getting ready to try to do an MDMA experience to try to work through it. And so it works terrific if it's supported. And the study was just finished. We got significant results. We're working with the military, chief psychiatrist in Israel. We're working with Canadian study. We're trying to work with the military. So it's we're going to have to go a further distance and prove it even more. But they are natural allies if we can just work, but it'll take them an awful long time to get used to it. So we have to start it and maybe go the whole way, and that'll take $10 million, 10 years, and we'll have MDMA as a prescription medicine for post-traumatic stress disorder.
Thank you. Thank you, Mel.
Okay. The gentleman with the blonde hair and the glasses, right here? Yeah. Yeah. How do we feel about the subcultures that are being spawned from our research? I think we both feel very sad about what we consider misuse. One of the things that happens when people are young and know that they will live forever is that they mix drugs. And of course, when you do research, you never mix drugs unless somebody really works hard at persuading you to have an evening of fun and not research. But in general, it's really better if you know what the effect of the drug is, and you can't if you combine it with something else. And a lot of these kids combine those extraordinary things together and will sometimes die. And then, of course, the entire society says, oh, bad drugs are bad. I mean, you have to have some common sense about it. And the main trouble is that all these things are illegal. If they were legal, then there could be some kind of ceremonial use as visionary plants are used in other cultures. But we don't have that kind of ceremony, and as long as we keep these things illegal, people are going to try everything on their own. And also the other problem is people who are interested in psychedelics don't do their homework. They don't read the books. They don't even realize there are books written. And there are a lot of them, and they're really good information.
I've had one comment on that one. I personally have a strong belief that the mixture of 2 drugs is a new drug in itself. And so if you want to follow up one drug with a follow-up with another drug, you are taking a new drug combination and therefore a new drug. If you take them both at the same time, it is a new drug. So they should be taken on the same cautionary low dosage start, working up to dosage of activity.
Yeah. Person in gray shirt. Yeah, with gray hat. Loud.
I wonder when
the effect of SSRIs. Is that what? I really don't know about that, though I've heard and read a lot. Rick Doblin probably does.
I was in Israel a couple of weeks ago, and there was a fellow that had been in a terrorist bombing, and 10 people had been killed, and he had PTSD. And we worked with him. He was on an SSRI, and we'd only made arrangements a couple of days before to do this, and so it was a precious opportunity. And what we found is that you can override the SSRI by around twice a dose of MDMA. And there's this concern about serotonin syndrome, about getting too much serotonin, but it doesn't seem to take place at that lower level. So it's not the way it's best to taper off of the SSRIs completely, but that in certain special circumstances, you can override them. And most people sort of just shied away, and we definitely say people have to taper off for a couple weeks before they can get their first dose. Practical.
It's sort of like before you take ayahuasca, most people who are heading the ceremony will tell you to go off medications about 10 days ahead of time, if you can, and to eliminate certain foods from your diet. As far as the pharmaceutical industry goes, I think they're concerned only with whether they can get a patent on something and make money. They're not interested in social uplift, but they aren't villains either. They're just not interested. They really don't know anything about psychedelics. I don't think they set out to block anything seriously. Other parts of the government, that's a different story. Gentleman with raised hand, with a pork pie hat, it looks like from here.
I wanted to ask you both about entheogens in general, the use of visionary plants, more specifically 5-MeO-DMT, and using these substances as legitimate Eucharists for practical spiritual experience. And I'm wondering if you're familiar with the Universal Declaration of Rights of Practical Spiritual Experience, founded by Coffee in India.
Yeah.
And the idea that we really need to stand up not only for our First Amendment right, freedom of religious belief, we need to stand up for our First Amendment right, freedom of spiritual praxis, freedom of spiritual experience. So I'd like to ask you both about your feelings about that, what we can do to bring that forward faster, especially things like the Native American Church is doing, what Sanders Diamond is doing, what the Union of Evangelicals is doing, bringing these questions to the Supreme Court regularly and testing as the survey redone over, and not back by our government that is afraid of these things.
The best thing you can do is the universe is telling me something. Probably people's bladders are full. I think the best thing you can do is distribute your copies of that declaration. I think that's a wonderful thing, and most people don't know about.
You can get copies of it at the God Box, which is in Gremlin and 430. So that's around my
Gremlin and 430, the God Box. That's pretty good. What? Oh, Lair of the Mystic Toad. Thank you very much.
One point I can add to this.